go for a few pulses just to mix it up.
16 ounces of bread dough, 2 tablespoons of sugar,
so now I'm just going to take
instant
the
rise
tube off
yeast.
because I'm going to add water. This is 10 and a half ounces or 1 1/3 cups of ice water. We want to keep it all as cold as possible because we don't want the activation of the yeast to happen too soon. Let it mix for about 10 seconds until the dough starts to form a cohesive mass. All right, so that looks pretty good. There's no streaks of dry flour in there. At this point, we're going to let this sit in the food processor for 10 minutes. That felt good, that 10-minute rest. We can now move on to our other ingredients. I have a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I've got 1 1/2 teaspoons of table salt. So put the lid back on. We're going to let this go about 30 to 60 seconds until it starts to clear the sides of the bowl. It becomes a sticky mass. All right, so I'm going to turn this out onto the counter. I just want to give it a little bit of an oiling. We're using vegetable oil here. So I'm just going to knead this a little bit just to get it to come together into a nice smooth ball.
Well, it's cool you're kneading it on an oiled surface, not a floured surface. Incorporates more oil into the dough, but also doesn't ruin that hydration level.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to put this in a bowl that I've oiled just a second ago. And there's a piece of plastic over there if you wouldn't mind handing that to me. Thank you. We're going to put this in the fridge, and the minimum amount of time we want that to go in there is 24 hours.
Okay.
It can go up to 72 hours, but really 48 hours is kind of the magic spot.
Oh, really?
Yes. The more that we were able to slow down the fermentation process, the better result that we got. All right, into the fridge. We've got so much time.
We got 48 hours.
That's
You
exactly.
want to go for a cocktail?
Yeah, exactly. But first, let's make some pizza sauce. So it starts with tomatoes, and this is a can of full peeled tomatoes. It's a 28-ounce can that we've drained. This is enough for 2 pizzas. This is a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, just enough to give it some richness. And I've got 2 cloves of garlic, which are minced, and this is a teaspoon of red wine vinegar. Now this is a teaspoon of dried oregano, as my husband would say, oregano.
Ooh, that sounds way fancier.
And this is a teaspoon of table salt. Now, this is just a little bit of heat. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So this all comes together about 30 seconds until it's nice and smooth. Like the dough, I'm going to put this in the fridge. Really, it's just until we're going to use it, but it can be made a couple days in advance or put it in the freezer. All right, I want you to check out my oven. This is to mimic an authentic pizza deck oven. You think about a pizza oven, it's not that tall, but it's really deep. So the pizza is sitting on that hot hearth and it's close to the top so you can get heat from both surfaces.
Ah, you've replicated that here.
Exactly. Raising up the rack, putting the stone on there, letting it all heat. That pizza's going to be very close to the oven top and get nice and brown.
And that's at 500 degrees.
And I've got 2 ovens.
Ah, 2 ovens, 2 pizzas, 2 people. Let's see where this is going.
That's right. All right, so you want to heat up those stones about an hour before you start to bake the pizza, and also you want to divide this dough into 2. It's well chilled, and because it's cold, it's really not going to stick to the surface at this point, plus we oiled it really well. So now I have the bench scraper. Cut that into 2 pieces. This is going to make roughly 2 12-inch pizzas, 12 to 13-inch. At this point, I want to shape these into 2 tight little balls. You can use the surface of the counter to give you a little bit of tension. Nice. Now these are going to go over onto an oiled baking sheet, and I'm going to put a piece of plastic on this. Now the plastic was sprayed with some vegetable oil spray, and we're going to let this sit at room temperature, again, about an hour until the dough loses its chill. It's going to be very easy to roll in. See how relaxed they are? This is what happens after an hour. They do slump, and I'm just going to slide this to the front because we do want to start flouring our bench here. And you can be really pretty liberal with it here at this point. Because remember, we had a pretty high hydration level in the dough itself. So go ahead and take your round. Make sure both sides are coated with flour. But anytime if the pizza starts sticking to the counter, just add a little bit more flour. Okay. We're going to start using our fingertips to just coax this out into about an 8-inch circle. And as I'm doing this, I'm leaving a little bit of a rim around the edge. So at this point, we're not rolling it out. We don't want to interrupt all these little bubbles that have developed in here. So we're going to start stretching. So basically, I just take my hand, really I'm holding in the center, and I'm just stretching this out into about a 12-inch circle. And if the dough feels like it's giving you any lip, just cover it up, a little bit of plastic, and walk away for a good 5 minutes. That's as close as I'm going to get it at this point. Let's bring our peels up here. We're going to flour the peel.
All right.
One of the things about using a wooden peel is you can't let the dough